I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here regarding this Behringer, because I keep playing with it. I meant to review it, but I keep playing with it, and when I play with it, I think I want to share my playing. So whilst I've still got my friend's Beta A, obviously, well, I say obviously, it seems to me that the Beta A is the one that it's meant to be emulating. Well, I don't know what it's meant to be doing, whatever, but you'd think so, wouldn't you, by the look of it? I think actually I prefer the shape slightly longer there, just in the grill, and otherwise pretty close. And I actually prefer the colour. I don't know if you can see on screen. It's just a bit cheerier somehow, a little bit more blue, a little bit more grey in this one. Don't know, and a slightly brighter blue. Just, I don't know, just seems more fun, really. Not that means anything much, does it? But there we go. But I'm on the biodynamic ribbon mic now, the V90R. I go straight to these two because there's something I noticed. If I just talk, got them both on at the minute. So I might get some phasing. Did notice if I just talk, hardly any difference. Very good. Well, there is a slight difference actually. I'm going to point it this way because it'll save me switching about if you don't mind. So there might be a bit of phasing, but it shouldn't really be if I do that, if I remember to. There is a slight difference actually. Maybe you can hear that. This is the Shure, the Beta 58A, and this is the Behringer, whatever it is. So, yeah, I noticed that up there. 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 What about this? Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. Very similar. There's a bit of extra air on the Behringer, it seems to me. And perhaps just a little less of the that actual part there. Difficult to say. I noticed a bit of this one seems to be a bit deader somehow. Seems to have a little bit of that. This one doesn't seem to have quite. When it do that, it just seems more open. When I'm doing that, I think I'm going to do the phasing, just the switching, just to make sure there's not any possibility of stuff. Let me get my fingers in the right place. So when I do a little bit of that on the Shure, I'm doing a little bit of that on the Shure. I'm doing a little bit of that on the Shure. I'm doing a little bit of that on the Behringer. I'm doing Behringer, the Behringer, the Behringer, the Behringer, the Behringer, not the Behringer, not the Behringer. Bit more compact. I think this is the Beta 58A. I will get my Beta 58 back because I prefer that to the A. That's what we've got so far. Again, the criticism of the Behringer was that I read handling noise and pops. You can hear the handling noise just as I'm doing this. So the pops on the Shure. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Behringer. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Sure. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? They're pretty close, it seems to me. Behringer's got more, but it's got that thud. I don't know if you've got headphones you'll hear, because what we're coming on to now is it goes a bit lower, it seems to me. So this is the Behringer, as I did on the other video against the USA SM58. The Behringer. The Behringer. The Behringer. Not the Behringer. Not the Behringer. Not the Behringer. Not the Behringer. Well, quite a difference, isn't there? Because on the again, as with the SM58, and for me, I know lots of you don't do that kind of stuff, so it didn't make you've got to try it for yourself for £12. Come on. When I do that kind of thing, if I'm using any of that kind of thing down there, it gets you just get that, and the weight isn't the authority such that I have isn't really there. So that's what I've noticed. This seems to be pretty much. Oh, we won't do this yet. Seems to be pretty similar there. This is kind of around the side on the Shure, and this is going around the side on the Behringer. This is round the back on the Behringer. This is round the back on the Shure. Different quality. That one's got that part there. That's what leaks through there at the back of the Shure. Whereas at the back of the Behringer, you can hear that it's lower, that it leaks through. I'm guessing that maybe the Shure might be a bit more feedbacky because it's up in the area where you might have stuff, a lot of voice is going to be. Kind of there, seems to be there, whereas that's got less of that but more underneath. There we go then. I think that's about it. Although, of course, comparing the handle noise between these two, this is a Shure, the Beta 58A, and the handle noise is very good. Of course, it doesn't go low, so you're not going to get the thunder, but it's very good. And we know from yesterday, or whatever it was I did, that this one's noisier, so you're not going to need to play with it. Just don't play with it, really, as I always say, but I mean, sometimes you have to. It's not too bad as far as stand-born noise would be. Sure, a little bit better, still comes through. So this one, handling noise, is not as good as a Shure, and higher up and lower down, I don't think. So, Behringer am I? Nope. Now I'm on the Behringer. Now I'm on the Behringer. Now I'm on the Behringer. Now I'm not on the Behringer. Now I'm not on the Behringer. Once again, the Behringer seems quite free. So when I come back onto Shure, I feel like I've got to work a bit harder, even though I've been fiddling with the gains quite a bit. So I don't know. I've been fiddling with the gains quite a bit. Been fiddling with the gains. This is the Beta 58, the Beta 58A, 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 not the Beta 58A, not the Beta 58A, not the Beta 58A, not the Beta 58A. Beta 58. Behringer. No. Yeah. Of course, when you're doing that kind of thing, doesn't really matter. But it's, I don't know, whatever, I did it anyway. There we go. 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 Sure. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Behringer. There we go. 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 Sure. There we go. There we go. Whoa. Which one are we on there? That's about it then, I think. Let me just finish it off with some more nonsense. Well, the biodynamic, I have to have the gain up quite a bit because ribbon. I don't really know what to say. Let me just see, because it's too much, so it doesn't like it. I have to do that. There we go. Quite heavy, both of them as well. I'm going to review it. I mean, take the top off. I've done it. I'm just going to do the normal review. Why not? But I think I have to say, I don't have to say anything. Forget the £12. Let's just forget the £12, shall we? Shall we forget the £12? Are we agreed? Let's forget the £12. Regardless of the £12. I'm afraid I have to say, why do I say I'm afraid? I'll tell you why I say I'm afraid. Because when I saw the reviews, it's like nobody wanted to say that this is better than this, or the other one, or the USA. No one wants to say it. So better is not really, because none of them are meant to be true microphones, really, if you know what I'm saying. They're not like the Bio-MH8 where they really try to get full bandwidth, blah, 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 da-da-da, and it's all compromised anyway. And with the Earthworks ones, they're trying full bandwidth, fast, all that, good microphones. These are all more character microphones, purposeful microphones, if you like. So it's not really a question of what's better, because if you want better, then you're going to go to a different league. So really now, unless things are really awful, unless the pops and handles are really awful, then obviously things are better. I think they're in the ballpark. Even with the handling noise of this, you've got to be a bit careful. But they're kind of, it's not disastrous. I've got other more expensive mics which are about the same handling noise. Pops, I didn't find particularly bad. So could change the foam maybe underneath, put a Shure foam in there, something like that. I don't know, make a different fiddle about if you want. But I didn't find the pops particularly bad. So there are of these character mics then. I guess what it boils down to is that I noticeably prefer the character of the Behringer. So if I wasn't going to use one of the mics that I tend to use, and they said out of these three, you're my original, I've had my first proper mic, if you like, my original USA 58, or my friend's here Beta A, or even the Beta which I've got, which she's got at the moment because swap them round. Out of those, which would I choose? I'd go straight for the Behringer. For me, straight for the Behringer, no questions. Isn't that interesting? Well, maybe not. Anyway, there we go. That's my take on it. You probably have a different mileage. But there, I've said it. And it's the truth for me. So, there we go. I'll see you next time.